Welcome to the crossroads of dreams and wisdom, where ambition dances with the soul. You're listening to The Balanced Visionary, aligning ambition with soulful success. I'm Jen, your guide on this journey of self-discovery and achievement. Each week we'll explore the paths of personal growth, spiritual depth, and professional triumphs. Together, we'll unearth the secret to a life where success is not just what we achieve, but how we thrive. So visionaries, are you ready to transform your ambitions into a journey of the heart? Let's embark on this adventure together. Hello guys, welcome to The Balanced Visionary. Oh my gosh, this podcast has really been in the making, and for some reason I am starting to get emotional, but we're just going to roll with it. The first podcast, it's not the first podcast that I have done, but if you are following this channel, the old podcast that I used to do was called The Awakening Hour. And I have been on this soulpreneur journey for a very, very long time. And I just looked at the clock and it is 3:33. So lots of energy coming through. Let me get back on track. The Awakening Hour was a trial, like testing grounds. I think a lot of people who have been following me for a very long time has seen me do what every soulpreneur, entrepreneur, whatever you want to call yourself. I'm not going to get hung up on terminology so much anymore. But if you feel like you have a greater purpose in life and you know it has to be packaged in some way to offer to the collective, and you will get an energy compensation in the form of money, that is a business, you're in the right place. And a lot of people have seen me go through many different things in this journey, okay? And it is the hero's journey. We're going to talk a little bit about the hero's journey. And you guys have witnessed me going through my hero's journey. But there's been one thing that I have left out that I don't really talk about. And I knew it's always been there, and I knew to wait for divine timing, which is what I help my soul tribe with, is, understanding that everybody is on their own journey. Everything that you're doing on your journey is playing a part in the overall grand scheme of things. And I knew at some point in my journey, when I first started out, going down this path of being a soulpreneur or, online coach, a thought leader, I knew it was in the business realm. Now, I do have business experience. I worked in the matrix extensively with a lot of different things, but I didn't quite know how to do that with the online coaching aspect. So I knew it had to do with business building and foundational things. That, lo and behold, that's all in my astrology and human design. But I knew it had to set the foundation. However, I was in the beginning of my journey, and I didn't quite know how to package all that stuff. And you can't advertise yourself as a business coach if you've never been a business coach, okay? So it's been the learning lesson of me being a business coach. Now, why I got so emotional at the very beginning of this was because I have not talked about where I've come from, guys, and where I'm at now. Where am I at now? It is January 8th, 20 2024. We have just entered into 2024. It's probably going to be the year that shit hits the fan. I'm praying. Been waiting for it to hit the shit, for shit to hit the fan for quite some time. It's actually been one of my blocks, but I'm not allowing it to block me anymore. I have been waiting for things to come to the surface. But I feel like they're coming close, and I'm really getting a strong nudge to step forward. But going back like through my journey where I'm at now, it's 2024. I am really stepping more into what I'm here to do, which is Rise University. And I am the headmistress here at Rise University, and I help visionary leaders, merge the balance of having the work life and their own personal life, the home life, and achieve that sweet spot so that when things happen in life, business, or whatever, because it's going to, you guys can ride that wave. And that's why I'm getting so emotional, because I don't talk much about like what happens or what's going on behind the scenes with me. I am single, so I'm doing pretty much my whole business building on my own. I'm self-supporting, so I am also a jack of all trades. That's just part of who I am in my design. I'm multi-talented in different areas, and because I'm multi-talented, I utilize that for different streams of doing things. But what I have realized is that I have stretched myself thin. I'm not putting all my intention and energy into Rise University, which is the school, the mystery school that I am building for visionary light warriors, visionary leaders, those who are here to make a change, who are not just focused on the business aspect, but also want to have that personal touch with the personal development side of things, the mindset, the spiritual development. Yeah, it all goes hand in hand if you're here to change the planet, guys. It all goes hand in hand. But where I'm at now is completely different from where I started. And before I kind of tell you guys everything that I have been doing, I want to talk about where I was, so that if you're listening to this, you can know that it's possible. This past year, I hit the highest that I have ever made by myself, which, proved to me that I can do it. And I needed that because I have come basically from the depths of hell. I was born and raised in Houston, Texas. My parents divorced at a very young age. And so it started that whole, the separation and divide that they want to do at the family unit. I saw my dad, every first, third, and fifth weekend, or every other weekend when he had us. And, my mom, she had her things that she was going through. So I was really kind of, I'm the middle child, if that tells you anything. I have an older sister, and then I have a younger sister. I'm a manifester too, so at a very young age, I did get that suppression that started, okay? And this is why I love human design. It has opened up so many different things, core wounds that I can work with, because now I can understand why things happen the way that they did. But needless to say, my childhood was, before my parents got divorced. I don't really have any, not pleasant memories. After my parents divorced, my mother got with her stepdad, who was my handler for many years. And there was a lot of abuse that happened inside of the house. So I ended up being the line of target, and a lot of the sexual abuse that happened, the verbal abuse, the physical abuse, the mental abuse. I cannot tell you about the mental abuse. My stepdad was in the occult, and he would do all sorts of different things with me, and that went on for many years. And after him and my mom separated, that is where I can actually pinpoint my manifesting energy going boom. Not in the best way, guys, okay? It was as soon as he left, the control. My mom, she did try to control, but I just did not give a fuck. Really, when I get to a point that I'm done, I can get to the point where my energy can be explosive, and that is where I can see the human design. However, that explosive energy led me down a very dark road of imprisonment, both outside and inside of the world. I went down a path of, I was an alcoholic and addict for many, many years. I was in and out of hospitals. My mom was always trying to figure out what was wrong with me. I was diagnosed with depression and anxiety. You know, some doctors said it was bipolar, this and that. And really, if I'm going to be honest, I was really just looking for the doctor that had the miracle pill that would make everything go away. Because whatever was happening inside of me, and at that point in my journey, I had no clue. I just knew that I didn't like it. Really, I was looking to numb, and I did. I numbed severely. It cost me relationships. It cost me jobs. It cost me my freedom. It cost me a whole list of things that I was in and out of recovery. I had went to several different programs. I was going in and out of AA, and I could never have any significant length of sobriety. The longest period of sobriety that I had was almost 2 years. But I would always get to this point that when things were going good, I would self-sabotage. And I was an expert at self-sabotaging, because at that time my self-worth, and still over these past couple years that I have been sober, I still have had to work on my self-worth. But all this, I had created a pathway of destruction, and it did get pretty bad, guys. When I say I was, I lost my freedom on the outside a couple of times. I lost custody of my son, which I am still healing from the aspects of that. I was state property for a very long time, where I was always under the monitor of the court system because of my ex. It was like very horrific. So, needless to say, when I hit my rock bottom, which was around 2017, I had a divine experience. 2018, let me look. I'm going to tell you, this is what I did different. In and out of AA, I did things completely different this time. And what I did do different was I stopped fucking counting the days. I put it in an app and it tells me what day it is. I should have pulled it up, but I'm going to pull it up right now. Of course, it's got to do some freaking... it's got to do like a commercial. Yes, 2017. So 2017, I had this divine experience, and I've done a separate podcast on that. I'm still processing what happened, but needless to say, it completely shifted my world. The only thing that could have gotten my attention, because I was, If you've ever been to a recovery program or you've been to AA, NA, any anonymous program, they say that the end of the road is death, jails, and institutions. And I had really experienced all of them. I have near-death survival stories as well. I could even go into some other crazy ass stuff, but we'll save that for another podcast. But yeah, needless to say, at that point, prior to my divine experience, which happened in May of 2017, I was praying for something to help me. Something on the outside of me to help me, because nobody wanted to do anything with me. I couldn't keep a relationship. I was having trouble keeping a job. I was struggling with my family. You name it, everything. It was take me off this fucking planet because it sucks, or help me and do something. And something did. Something did. It shifted inside of me, and I had a completely different view on life. So, needless to say, just to let you guys know who I am, because I'm being 100% transparent here, I can be stubborn. I have a defined head and defined ajna, okay? So, I can be very stubborn, and it takes me a long time to learn, and I have to learn through personal experience. So from May until October, I did some testing. I was like, no, maybe, it wasn't real, and it was. And in October, I really took it seriously, and I was done with drinking, and I quit. I've posted about my story. I went to an event with my son, and I'll tell you, this is transparency. I used to hide the vodka bottles, and I'd get the airplane ones, the small ones, because they're easily disposable. And I put those in my purse, and you could drink those and throw them in the trash can. It's easy to go to the bathroom or whatever. And that's what I did. And I had one too many, which was normally my case. I was a chronic blackout person. I do have my theories about that as well. Again, separate podcast. But this year I'm going to be very transparent with you guys on a lot of things. But needless to say, yeah, I had one too many. I was with my son, and the next morning I woke up and no one was talking to me, and he told me that he did not want to talk to me anymore. And I knew that was like the last person that was done putting up with my shit, and I was done putting up with my shit. I went through a transformation. It was night and day. My divine experience, I had a voice talking to me. Ra talks about this voice. His similar voice, I don't know if it was the same one. I have the one that I speak to, I associate with God, Creator, Source Energy, the Divine Mother, the All, and it was coming from inside of me. And this is why in our book club, if you do not know, we have a book club called the Mystic Minds Book Club inside of Rise University's Hall of Record. That's our own library system. In the book club, we're starting with the book of the Kabbalion, and that is the first book I was guided to read. And when I picked it up, I knew everything that it was talking about, because it was coming out from inside out of me, and I had never been exposed to anything like that in my entire life. So that is how I knew that this was not like there was something that was going on inside of me, because where the hell did I know all this stuff? And I've always kind of known. We've shut it out, because with me, I had so much programming done to me from a very, very, very young age. So, needless to say, that's a little background story, guys, of where I came from. I mean, it was the depths of hell. Anybody who knew me back then and knows me now knows that it is a complete difference. I am in October of 2023. I celebrated 6 years. So I'm going into my 7 years this year. I've had no desire to drink. It completely different. Haven't never had the thought of it's a possibility, maybe I could, or any of that crap. Has come up, and I know that it was the desire was completely lifted out of me, and that came from not going. I didn't go to a bunch of AA meetings, and I did not go into a recovery program this time either. What I did is exactly what I'm going to start talking to you guys about and teaching, because what it did for me was that regardless of whatever happens into your life, your business, or whatever, when shit hits the fan, because it will, it's inevitable, whatever happens in your life, are you going to have that balance to weather the storm? So, what I did different going into this one is at the very beginning, I did jump into AA. It was the one thing that I knew to do, okay? Because at that point in time, I needed to get to a place that would take me away from where I was currently at. So I did what I normally did. I went to an AA meeting and I got a sponsor, and I really liked my first sponsor. And this time I did the steps, which I don't have anything against AA or NA or the steps. They are steps for a spiritual awakening. However, it is very esoteric. There are things that are missing so you don't succeed, so to say. And for those of you who are researchers and dive deeper in it, they do have roots to the Rockefellers, I believe, and Aleister Crowley teachings. So I don't particularly, the information, I always take what resonates. However, it has helped some people. However, you have to be open to looking at your own shit. The addiction, or, if you have an addiction, if you have trouble letting something go, and they come in many different forms. Mine have always manifested in alcoholism, was always my drug of choice. After that was benzodiazepines, pills, painkillers, that type of thing, downers pretty much, and cigarettes, smoking, okay? So, and I smoke weed, but I don't really consider that an addiction. It's plant medicine for me, because it's what helps. But for when you are addicted, please know that there is a core reason to why you are addiction. You don't have an alcohol problem. You have a trauma problem. And everyone has got trauma at a core freaking level. And that trauma is what's going to manifest and throw you off balance. So, I don't want you guys to think that I am going to position this whole podcast, or where I'm going with Rise, about addiction, but I want to tell you guys a little bit more in depth of my story, so that you know that what we're coming into and what it is I do and why I'm here and who I'm here to help. It has everything to do with you stepping into your role of why you came here, to do what you came here to do. And bet that's going to trigger all that fucking trauma to come up. And many of us will do that. Old behaviors, okay? We're stuck in this pattern of still carrying old behaviors, and nothing is changing in our life and our business, and we get all upset about it, okay? Well, guess what? Wake up call. It is because of you. If you're not where you want to be at this point in time, it is because at some point in your journey you haven't worked on something, okay? It's inside of you. I have been resisting talking about things at a deeper level. But when I came into, like, it is 2024 on the Gregorian calendar. The new year, however, is not until the spring. And winter is a time of death, and then for rebirth to come into springtime is rebirth. Winter is the time of where we start digging that deeper. And the one thing that I know about me, that I have seen consistently through everything that I have gone through, where I'm at in life, what my father used to say, I'll tell you that in a minute. It's written out all in my astrology. It's in my human design, is that when shit hits the fan, that is when I thrive the best under pressure. And I'm an overachiever. I am a perfectionist. I am a ongoing recovering perfectionist. I'm still getting better at that. But I have learned where my life was so emotionally, mentally, physically, verbally, there was no fucking balance, guys. I mean, there was no telling what I would do. There was no telling what would come out of my mouth. There was no telling how I would react. None of it. There was no balance, and I was not emotionally balanced, and I would take things so personal. And I am an emotionally defined being. And boy, those waves fueled with alcohol, being a manifester, you can only imagine. It was not pretty. To being able to, when I am sober and I have that focus, that clarity and everything, I can achieve that balance. So what I did differently going into this time was that I literally took it one day at a time and one moment at a time sometimes. And it's important that, or for me, it was important that I did that, because what happened in the process was the first thing I dove into is was mindfulness. And mindfulness, you need that to achieve balance in your life and in your business. It is being in the core moment is what makes you the magician. Magic is always happening around you guys, but because we are not being mindful and focusing or paying attention to what's happening in the moment, we miss it. And it's easy to get distracted because the brain is this amazing piece of machinery that is, right there, but we're not supposed to be using it. We're supposed to be listening to what our strategy and authority is through human design. Our bodies know. Instinctually, when you step out of it, out of the mind, you will be surprised to just sit there and witness what your body can do, but you won't be able to do it until you do mindfulness. So that was one of the first things that I was guided. I didn't choose. I was guided. I was listening to whatever the voice was saying to me inside, because I wanted to get unstuck from where I was. So I listened. I was told to just take it one day at a time, one moment at a time, and that put me into mindfulness. Now, after that was when I started to dive into all the other stuff like Reiki and shamanism, the business aspect of it, neurolinguistics programming, life coaching. I have my first vision board, I wanted to have a metaphysical PhD, and literally I am on that road to do it. I'm just doing it in my own way and not going to a university, but not that any of my trainings are not accredited. However, I am going, I've been on that journey for the past 6 years. Ever since my awakening, it's been 6 years. I have been learning all these things that I'm going to be putting all together and bringing you in 2024. That's what Rise University is all about. It's not just one area, it's in all areas. But once I had my awakening, I took the personal development journey seriously. I wanted to fix whatever was inside of me that was making me continue to be self-destructive. I had no self-worth, and I didn't think that I could do this at all. What this past 6 years has shown me is resilience. It has shown me perseverance. It has shown me overcoming obstacles. It has shown me not giving up. And that is where a lot of soulpreneurs stop. I burnt myself out. It's been a learning journey through the whole thing, and that's exactly what I'm going to be teaching and talking about with you guys, as well as I have speakers that are lined up to come on to help share their wisdom of how they've overcome obstacles in their own business as well. Because it happens to every single one of us, guys, okay? I have a guest that I've asked to come on, but she knows. She's somebody who has achieved a high level of success in her business, and then, got to a point where she kind of went on a sabbatical. So there are things that come up, but it is so important that we achieve that balance in our life and in our business, because that's what's going to allow us to lay that path that is easy to walk. Now, the soulpreneur journey is not an easy one. It is got a lot of jagged edges. It's not one straight line up. You're going to go through a learning lesson. And one of the learning lessons that I've had is that I do need to speak more. I need to show up for service. I need to clear out all the energy leaks that I have created, because that prevents me from showing up for service, because I'm doing multiple different things. I freelance on the side, but that's going to be incorporated inside of Rise University for any of our students. You can either learn how to do a landing page and a website and all this technical stuff and an autoresponder, or you can hire us to do it for you. But before, I've been focusing on all my freelance stuff. However, I have clients that have had success in what I'm helping them with. So that is what gives me the experience to be able to share this with you, because I have hit a point in my business where I've proved to myself that I can do this, and that not only can I do this, but I am worth it at the end of the day. So, self-worth. I just made a post on the Instagram page, and it was one of the things that I had put. It's here's how you're going to revolutionize your business approach in 2024. And number 3 was cultivating self-worth. Your self-worth is the secret ingredient in your success recipe. It's about finding value within yourself independently of external achievements. You are worth it, guys. And the more that you step into that, and you value that, and you honor that, and you trust that, you're going to get rewarded. So, I think I'm going to leave it on that note. I really went into this one with just the topic of what I wanted to open up with. It wasn't here we go with the perfectionism. In the middle of it, I was like, oh my God, I didn't do this, I didn't do that. But I stepped out of it because something that my soul inside was really pulling me to do this. I didn't even have it planned, but I'm going to totally roll with it and put it up there. Know that moving forward, they're going to be a little bit more formatted. But I wanted to talk to you guys, to let you know where this podcast is coming from and why it's called The Balance Visionary. We're going to cover a lot of mindset stuff, spiritual topics, mindfulness as well. I'm going to have speakers on, guests that really want to share their story on how they've achieved the balance in their business and how they've overcome their obstacles. If you're a soulpreneur and you have a story, I would love to showcase you on this show. So definitely reach out. But know that, and also if you have any topics that you would like for me to cover specifically, then let me know. But I want to help you guys achieve that balance within your life and within your business, because when you do, then you are allowing both your divine feminine and your divine masculine aspects to work with each other. And when that happens, that allows your inner child to play. Because for the longest time, it's either been one or the other, and not the masculine and the feminine inside of you hasn't even been talking like a couple to even give that inner child the security that it would feel to play. Okay, that's where that balance comes in. All right. So it's so important that we do start achieving this and that people understand it a little bit more on a deeper level. I don't think a lot of people out there are talking about this that much. I don't know. I haven't really done that much research on it. But it is really something that we need in the collective. It is very much needed all around. So I really hope you enjoyed this podcast. Know that this and other episodes are sponsored by Rise University. That is our online mystery school specifically for visionary leaders who are ready to learn those foundational principles to help you build that legacy that you came here to build. Okay, we offer a lot of courses on body, mind, and spirit. It's an educational platform. There's some things that are in the work that are coming to you in 2024. So definitely get in there and check us out. So much love to you guys. I can't wait to see you on the next podcast, and looking forward to the next time. Bye now. Thank you for tuning into The Balanced Visionary. I hope this episode has brought you valuable insights and inspiration. If it resonated with you and you feel like you can light up someone else's day too, please take a moment to screenshot, share, and tag me on Instagram. I love seeing your posts and getting to know you better on a personal level. Don't forget to subscribe to the podcast on your favorite platform so you never miss an episode. Join us next time as we continue our journey towards aligning ambition with soulful success. Until then, keep balancing, keep dreaming, and I'll see you in our next visionary encounter.